There was this town called Delvin. It was a town called Delvin. Anyway, I'm not exactly sure, but it might have been a town that some German settlers had settled in. But anyway, it had advanced printing and advanced whiskey or alcohol production. It had advanced a lot of things, and it was probably a place that I invested a lot of money in. Like I said, the town Delvin was most notable for producing things like posters that were the first colored posters of their kind, which was basically a blue background with two little doves or two little birds flying through the air. Had an all blue background, had two doves, and basically you could leave it out in the sun all day long and the color of the ink would not fade in sunlight. The problem with a lot of printing and a lot of inks of the old days was basically if you left them out in the sun or just over time, they would basically fade or bleach out or change color over time. And so basically you buy something that looks blue today and then tomorrow it looks green or purple or some other color as the colors are not stable. The town of Delvin had stable ink. In other words, the blue today would be the blue tomorrow, would be the blue next week. The colors would not change, it would not fade. You could leave it out in the sunlight all day long and it would be the same color blue as it was yesterday. The whites would stay white, basically. Even if you smoked next to it, you could smoke right next to it with a cigarette and the paper nor the ink would absorb anything from the outside surrounding environment, as it was, like I said, most things in the old days were much like sponges. You buy a poster today and tomorrow it's a yellow faded whatever. The ink fades, everything fades. They used to say everything fades. That's not true. Not with Lucifer. With Lucifer, your ink could stay permanent ink that would never change color, would never fade. You could leave it out in the sun all day and it would not change. Anyway, so yes, the town was known as Delvin. It was probably in Warsaw. It was probably realistically Warsaw or something like that, but it was called Delvin. And from that town came the Devil's Brew, I guess, or something like that. I don't really know. But basically they made a wide variety of products for which nobody realized. A lot of people would buy these products and water them down or change their flavor or something else like that. Maybe pure whiskey, I'm not exactly sure. Like I said, my soldiers drank whiskey and I gave my employees an allotment of like a pint a day or something like that because we were making so much of it. But basically the town was called Delvin. And from that town came, I guess, Devil's Brew, Devil this, Devil that. But realistically, devil just means, to devil something just means to pickle it, as in make it last. So deviling was, deviled eggs, stuff like that. Deviled eggs were just pickled eggs, basically. Basically pickled in either alcohol. Well, I think to devil it meant to pickle it in alcohol. And then there's the normal pickle juice, and basically back in the old days there used to be lots of things like I think deviled eggs means to put it in an alcohol solution. I'm not exactly sure because there's pickling and then there's deviling and all that other stuff. But basically it was a fluid treatment pretty much. One is basically alcohol and one is basically salt and some other stuff. Anyway, most things will soak up alcohol pretty well. So anyway, it would also make it last longer. So as most people know, alcohol, or at least not wood alcohol, but normal alcohol, good quality alcohol, basically is pretty much it's a preservative. So is salt and some other things. Anyway, though, but just to let you guys know exactly what the devil stuff is about. The town was Delvin. They had a printing press. They had a distillery. They had lots of stuff. Anyway, in the old days, if you produced something, you would probably be robbed and all your stuff would be stolen at some point in time, unless you had a sufficient army or military force standing by, basically. Like I said, if you owned a dock, eventually somebody would come to basically steal your ships eventually, and other things like that. Or if you produced a car, eventually people would come to your car factory and basically shoot you and take your cars. or take whatever they could possibly get, and probably ended up making knives or swords or something out of the metal. Anyway, whatever, I don't really care, and it was thousands or millions of years ago. But basically, that's what it was all about. There was the Delvin Company, or Delvin Town. Well, Delvin Company, Delvin Town, I'm not exactly sure. It's a town for which there was a printing press that had good posters, and there was also they also made quite a few other products like alcohol and some other stuff. Anyway, it was Delvin or Delvin. I'm not exactly sure, but it was a town that had a lot of different things, and I'm not exactly sure where it was anymore. Someplace in Europe, maybe? I forget exactly where it was, but they made posters where the posters with the two doves came from, basically. At the little bottom corner, it said Delvin, which was the town it was printed in, and by the company it was being printed by.